Today on the show, we have the House of Mouse headlines brought to you by laughingplace.com, your up-to-date resource for the latest Disney news every day of the week. This episode is being released on July 24th, 2024, and here's what's been going on in the world of Disney recently. The Country Bears reclaiming some recognition at Disneyland. Disneyland Paris is setting a drone record. Marvel's Kevin Feige joining the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and more.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
Legendary comedian and actor Bob Newhart has passed away at the age of 94. To generations of children, he was the voice of Bernard the Mouse in Disney's 1977 animated feature The Rescuers, its 1990 sequel, The Rescuers Down Under, and most recently, the 2023 short film Once Upon a Studio. Some of Newhart's other Disney credits include playing himself on The Simpsons, a recurring role on ABC's Desperate Housewives, and an iconic Lost parody on Jimmy Kimmel Live. However, he's best known for his deadpan comedy, his beloved sitcom The Bob Newhart Show, and one of the most well-remembered series finales of all time in Newhart. He is survived by his 4 children and 10 grandchildren. Disney legend Bill "Sully" Sullivan, recognized for many milestones during his nearly 40-year career at the company, has passed away at the age of 88. After seeing the opening of Disneyland on television, Sully promised himself he'd work there and found work at the park where he progressed from ticket taker to ride operator to operations supervisor. This experience gave him the opportunity to move around the park, rising through the ranks of park operations and supervising various attractions. 2 windows on Main Street, USA at Magic Kingdom Park pay tribute to Sully. One lists him as a charter member of the Windermere Fraternal Hall, while another identifies him as chief guide of Sully's Safaris and Guide Service, referencing his time at Disneyland's Jungle Cruise. In 1993, Bill retired after 38 years with Disney, and he would be named a Disney legend in 2005. He is survived by his wife of 65 years, Jacqueline Sullivan, and their children. Disneyland's largest union coalition has voted to authorize a strike. Support for the move was overwhelming, with 99% of ballots cast voting in favor. The strike authorization occurred via an election held by Master Services Council, a coalition of 4 different unions that represent cast members from attractions, merchandise, custodial, park entry, parking, and more. However, a strike authorization does not yet mean that a strike will happen, and no date for one has been set as of this recording. Disney negotiators and union officials have also been meeting since the vote, so we'll need to wait and see what comes from these latest talks. Those who live in Disneyland's hometown can now take advantage of a special ticket offer. In celebration of the park's recent 69th birthday, for a limited time, Anaheim residents can visit a Disneyland theme park for as low as $69 for a one-day, one-park ticket. This offer is now available, and tickets are valid for visits August 5th through September 26th, which means you can enjoy Halloween time if you time it correctly. Eligible residents can purchase up to 5 tickets at this special price. For more information, visit disneyland.com/Anaheim resident offer. Alongside the official debut of the Country Bear musical Jamboree at the Magic Kingdom, a few of the bears have debuted new costumes for meeting guests. Wendell, Shaker, and Big Al were recently spotted outside Grizzly Hall in Frontierland, sporting new costume pieces inspired by their looks in the show. Also notable is that Shaker now wears a costume that seems to draw some inspiration from the one Wally Bogue wore in the Golden Horseshoe Revue at Disneyland. Meanwhile, if you can't make it out to Walt Disney World to see the new musical review and meet the bears, you can listen to the music from the show, as the soundtrack is now available on your favorite streaming platforms. A sequel to a beloved 2000s comedy is reportedly in the works. According to The Wrap, Disney and 20th Century Studios are developing a follow-up to The Devil Wears Prada. Producer of the original film, Wendy Feinerman, is returning to oversee the sequel, with a potential return of original screenwriter Aileen Brosh McKenna. The new film is said to explore Miranda Priestley facing the decline of magazine publishing. With Runway suffering financially, Priestley returns to Emmeline Charlton, now a powerful executive at a luxury brand, for help. At this time, it is unknown whether Streep, Hathaway, or Blunt will return for the sequel, so you'll need to gird your loins and wait for updates. It looks as though some familiar MCU alums may be returning to the franchise. Sources say that the Russo brothers are now in talks to helm the next two Avengers films. The duo first directed Captain America: The Winter Soldier for the studio, and went on to do Captain America: Civil War, Avengers: Infinity War, and Avengers: Endgame before stepping away. The next Avengers film was set to be titled Kang Dynasty, but that's likely to change after some box office disappointments from Marvel and the studio cutting ties with Jonathan Majors, who played Kang. Additionally, Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretton was set to direct Kang Dynasty, but has since dropped out of the project. In other words, the MCU could use some refocusing, and the Russos could be the ones to help manage that. Currently, Avengers 5 and 6 are set to be released in 2026 and 2027, respectively. Longtime Marvel Studios President Kevin Feige is set to be honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame this week. The unveiling ceremony will take place on Thursday, July 25th at 11 a.m. This will mark the 2,785th star on the iconic walk. Naturally, Feige's star will be located near the historic El Capitan Theater, and he will be honored in the motion picture category. Actors Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, stars of Marvel's latest feature, Deadpool and Wolverine, will also be on hand to honor Feige before they presumably drive down to San Diego for Comic-Con. You can catch the ceremony from home by heading to walkoffame.com. Disney has shared details of what shopping will look like at D23, the Ultimate Disney fan event, next month. Shopping locations at the event include World of Disney, the product experience, the D23 Marketplace, DisneyStore.com, the Walt Disney Company Store, Mickey's of Glendale, and more. Given the popularity of these retailers, Disney will utilize mobile checkout and virtual queues for select locations. Both services will be available through a direct link from the Disney D23 app to the Disneyland app. More info on these shopping opportunities can be found at d23.com. A legendary and beloved Imagineer is getting the Funko Pop treatment. The popular vinyl collectible company has announced that a new Bob Gurr figure will be available exclusively at D23, the Ultimate Disney fan event. The announcement of the Bob Gurr Funko Pop was actually made last year at WonderCon, as the company inducted Bob Gurr as the first inductee in the Funko Celebrity Hall of Fame. Commenting on the pop, Gurr said, "I am deeply humbled and grateful to Funko for this incredible recognition. I hope this Funko Pop figure brings joy to fans around the world and serves as a reminder of the magic we create together." If you're headed to D23, you can find this special Bob Gurr Funko Pop at the Loungefly booth. A new collection of Disney songs as performed by rock, alternative, and pop-punk artists is on the way. Recently, the first single from the upcoming album, A Whole New Sound, was released and features Simple Plan covering Can You Feel the Love Tonight in honor of The Lion King's 30th anniversary. You can currently hear the song on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and elsewhere. It was also announced that Simple Plan will take the stage at D23, the Ultimate Disney fan event, on August 9th to perform their version of the song. A Whole New Sound will be released later this year, including on vinyl. Data from the Walt Disney Company's Slack channels has apparently been leaked. An anonymous hacking group calling itself Nullbulge posted in a blog that they had published data from thousands of Slack channels at Disney. The information includes discussions about ad campaigns, studio technology, and even interview candidates, as well as details on unreleased projects. According to the group, they claim to have accessed the information through a member of Disney management in software development, whom they compromised twice through tactics commonly referred to as a Trojan horse. A spokesperson from Disney said that the company is currently investigating the matter. And now it's time to bring back Kyle Burbank from laughingplace.com. How you doing, Kyle?
I've been trying to keep up, Jeff. We are just barreling towards D23, and I really can't believe it.
Oh, yeah. It's here, and I have 2 conventions before that.
I have 1 convention before that.
So I'm losing my mind a little bit, frankly. But listen, I need to start with something. Kyle, I do know Complicated by Avril Lavigne.
Okay. Did people give you crap?
People were very upset about this. My sister-in-law was just like, Jeffrey. I was like, listen, here's the thing. My mind was in Disney mode. Sure, we were talking about TRL, but you said it, and I must admit, I didn't necessarily know the song by the title, but when I went back editing the episode and you said Avril Lavigne, I was like, oh yeah, the skater boy chick. And then you said complicated. I was like, oh yeah, why'd you have to go and make things so complicated? I was like, I know complicated. And then I just got, messages absolutely blasting me.
I'm enjoying setting you up. This is like the second or third time. I outed you on the Friends thing, and then now I got this Avril beef going. It's great.
Listen, I do know complicated. I really, really do. And I actually quite enjoyed it. And yes, I remember it during its TRL days. So is she still a thing, though, Avril Lavigne?
Yeah, no, she's having pop punk's kind of had like a bit of a renaissance lately. And so she's part of that. She's been going out on tour. I think her new record was a return to pop punk sound. Very polished pop punk, but that's what pop is. Pop punk is.
Yeah, I had heard back in the day, back when she was first getting famous, and I don't know how true this is or not, but I had heard she had a very like Britney Spears kind of clean image, and whoever, her management and stuff was like, nah, there's like too much of that with Christina and all that stuff, so we're going to go this direction with you. I have no idea whether or not that's true, but I would absolutely believe it.
Yeah, so I remember Pink's record was very like R&B, and then like the second one, when she even talks about them wanting to make her Britney Spears.
I was actually going to mention Pink. We're so off Disney topic, but I was going to mention Pink because she really blows my mind. Her longevity is quite impressive. I've always liked her music. I discovered her opening for NSYNC. I went on my first concert ever, NSYNC No Strings Attached, and Pink opened, and I was like, this girl's great, and then really enjoyed her kind of her TRL days. But I don't think she ever stopped. She's not like a comeback kind of person. She's just been going since 2000 or whenever the heck it was. Yeah. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's good. She's got a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah. Shall we talk about some Disney?
I suppose we should do that, yes.
The Hungry Bear restaurant in Disneyland has been closed for refurbishment since the beginning of this month, as all of Critter Country gets ready for the opening of Tiana's Bayou Adventure later this year. When the restaurant does reopen, it will get an extra touch of Country Bears theming, as it becomes the Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree. Inspired by the Country Bears and their travels throughout the greatest music halls in the United States, the restaurant will feature a new menu inspired by the Country Bears' favorite regional barbecue dishes. Additionally, a soundtrack of the Country Bears' greatest hits will play throughout the restaurant. It should also be noted that the Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree will not be a character dining location. More details about the full menu, the concept, and a reopening date will be announced at a later date. This is kind of bizarro news.
See, that's why we talked about musical acts with longevity before this. It was all leading up to this.
It was a perfect segue, right?
But no, this is, there's already some Country Bear representation at Hungry Bear, like down in the restrooms and things like that. Mm-hmm. But no, it's a kind of a no-brainer. It's also kind of makes itself ripe for clickbait. So we have to deal with that part of it. But I like it overall.
I can't believe that the Hungry Bear restaurant isn't one of the hottest spots in Disneyland during Pride Night. It's not. At least the first year, it was not. And I walked by specifically thinking, oh, this is going to be a thing. It was not, so...
We're all checking out Leather Daddy Stitch.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But yeah, I was shocked that didn't become a thing on social media. It didn't. So good job behaving, Disneyland boys. But... I will say I had a few thoughts with this. Number one, let's just give a little bit of history in case folks don't know. So Critter Country used to be called Bear Country before Splash Mountain went in, because where the Winnie the Pooh attraction is now used to be the Country Bear Jamboree, and therefore Bear Country. Now let's face it, this is now more Bear Country than it is Critter Country, with this whole Country Bears thing happening, plus Winnie the Pooh minus Splash Mountain. I'm like, it's kind of Bear Country, but whatever. It's still called Critter Country. But it does make me wonder if this new Country Bears show happening at Magic Kingdom is a huge success. I haven't watched it yet. It's kind of one of those things I think I'm just going to wait and see it in person. But if it is a big success, Winnie the Pooh never really has a long line, and granted, this would be a pretty hefty expense to bring back the Country Bears to Disneyland, but this is really interesting to me, the choice to do this. I'm all for it, but it's interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a difference between some light theming on a restaurant and, rebuilding the animatronic attraction. But you'll remember for years and years, I think probably as long as DCA has existed, there have been rumors about the Country Bears coming back in some form to like to the Redwood Challenge Creek area. And then, of course, people also recently, when they added that Big Al statue that was basically just a DVC commercial, people thought that meant that it was coming to Grizzly Peak area. And I never say never, but yeah, I think this is just an easy, it's they added IP to their IP so that they could turn that IP into an IP for a restaurant over here. It makes perfect sense.
And, the Country Bears do meet every once in a while at Disney California Adventure. You'll see them as character meet and greets. So, yeah, I guess they're not dead from Disneyland Resort, but I don't know. This was a very interesting choice to me. The thing I like most about it is that it's going to be barbecue. Because right now, the Hungry Bear restaurant, it's fine food. It's, chicken tenders, burgers, and mediocre burgers at best, I would say. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it if you just want a quick, traditional theme park food. But I'm really hoping the quality is like, Big Thunder Ranch barbecue, which I miss terribly and was a wonderful, wonderful opportunity at Disneyland. So if they bring that quality of barbecue, I think that would be great. And I'm also interested to see if they put walls up or anything, because right now it's just very quick service window and then all outdoor seating. And I'm curious to see if they, enclose any of it or what they do with it. I don't know. I'm curious. This is interesting to me.
Well, what's kind of funny to me is, the last time we had a kind of left field decision to redo a restaurant, it was Sam Eagle also hosting a barbecue restaurant.
True.
In Epcot. But no, I think it'll be they'll put up the new sign, they'll have the soundtrack, which hopefully will include, I imagine it'll have some of their covers from the new show, but I would hope that they'd throw in some classics. I don't know if you really want to listen to Blood on the Saddle while you're eating messy, dripping barbecue, but what do I know?
I do.
And maybe they'll throw up some more portraits and stuff like that.
Or some no throw up.
No, they're going to display.
There we go.
Place up. I don't know. Different, probably little props and stuff, kind of like they have in the queue for the new attraction. Yeah.
So there was this video going around of a broken down animatronic from the new attraction, and it had smoke coming out of it, and it was kind of clickbaity, like, oh my gosh, it's on fire, but it was actually just a smoke effect.
Yeah, it was it was bad timing, but yes, you're right. It was part of the show.
I saw that, and it just kind of is driving me wild, because this is now the third attraction I can think of that we had Tiana's open, and that thing's breaking down a lot. And, we didn't have that many problems with Splash Mountain. Now Country Bears is just redone. That thing broke down pretty immediately. The original show, I don't think they had that many problems. And then Universal Studios Hollywood, they just did a whole overhaul of Earthquake, and that reopened. And that thing's breaking down all the time. I'm like, why is all new construction constantly breaking down when these attractions that have been running for decades seem to have been in better shape than they are now? It's so insane to me.
Well, two things. You'll remember that the original Country Bears ended up closing early because it broke down. And so our friends didn't get to actually see it for the last time. They just got to walk through the theater. But two, you're saying this right after a weekend where an update killed how many computers across the world and halted flights and stuff. So yeah, I guess you kind of have a point. Never update Windows. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, the world's falling apart. That's the moral of the story. So wonderful. Let's move on, shall we?
I think we have to at this point.
Okay.
That comment.
During Bastille Day celebrations, Disneyland Paris brought their impressive drone show to the skies for the holiday. In doing so, they achieved the Guinness World Record for largest aerial display of a fictional character formed by multi-rotors/drones. Now, Kyle, I would like to announce that Disney Coast to Coast now holds the Guinness World Record for most popular podcast focusing on Disney, with an alternating format focusing on news and in-depth conversations with rose-colored glasses removed.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Did you get it certified?
Obviously, I'm kidding.
Did you pay the fee? That's what it comes down to.
This is ridiculous. I can't stand when things are like records are broken with such specificity. Broadway does it all the time. Highest box office Wednesday in spring in the last decade or whatever. It just gets so specific. It drives me insane. And I literally read this and just laughed my butt off. I should specify 1,571 drones flew into the air to form the shape of Mickey in the colors of the holiday, deeming it world record worthy, apparently.
The colors being red, white, and blue, like the French flag, by the way.
Unbelievable. I'm actually curious. So when I put this on the list of topics I wanted to discuss, why do you think I wanted to discuss it?
Cause drones?
Because drones, that's what I thought you might think. No, I wanted to discuss it because of the ridiculousness of the record.
That's totally fair. And you know what? Honestly, I hadn't looked that closely at it. I just knew that there were drones. And I will say, in their slight defense, yes, the world record is stupid. But I saw it the first year that they did the Bastille Day fireworks with drones, and I was blown away. And then the next year, my friend went and sent us a video, and I did a side-by-side, and there were so many more, and it was so much more impressive. And then I watched this year's, and it's even a step up from that. So it is crazy how quickly it's progressed. And so I was like, wow, world record. But yeah, you're right. I didn't realize the specificity of it, and that's dumb.
Yeah, they're progressing everywhere except for Southern California. But, I just repeat myself weekly at this point. But yeah, I don't know. It just made me laugh quite a bit. And Kyle, do you happen to know, do you think there's any relation between Guinness World Records and Guinness the beer?
I hadn't thought about it, but how old were you when you realized that the Michelin tire company is the same one as when they talk about Michelin stars for culinary?
Oh, what?
Okay, you were today years old. I knew this for a few years, but I spent so many others being like, they can't possibly be the same company. No, it's the same company.
Well, so is Guinness. Listen to this. Guinness World Records, originally the Guinness Book of Records, the ultimate authority on record-breaking achievements, started out as an idea for a book of facts to solve arguments in pubs. The idea came about in the early 1950s when Sir Hugh Beaver, managing director of the Guinness Brewery, attended a shooting party in County Wexford. There, he and his hosts argued about the fastest game bird in Europe and failed to find an answer in a reference book. So Guinness the beer and Guinness World Records are related. And you say you never thought of it? Well, I did while we were putting these notes together, and I was like, let me look into this. And sure enough, it is. Isn't that crazy? And the Michelin thing's blowing my mind.
What is the average airspeed velocity of a hummingbird carrying a coconut?
I don't know, but I'll tell you what. This is now one of the most educational podcasts to ever exist. Released on a Wednesday at midnight by two guys and who often wear Disney clothing. There we go.
So you think that someone at Disneyland Paris was like, we should get a drone record. Well, how many drones do we need to break the record? Well, that would be thousands and thousands. Okay, well, what if we have the largest aerial display of rotors and a Mickey head and 3 colors? And someone said, brilliant!
That's pretty much how it went down, I think.
I don't remember which show it was on or YouTube video or something, but they have like a whole thing, like a section of Guinness World Records that for like businesses where you can they'll work with you and figure out like a world record that you can break just for these publicity purposes.
That's ridiculous. That is the dumbest thing.
And I can't believe we ever bought these books. When we walked down to the Borders or the Walden or wherever else we went in the mall.
I never bought a book.
You never bought a book?
Not a Guinness World Record book.
Okay. No. It's like, that's a weird declaration, John.
No, I never bought a book. I always get them for free. No, I love books. I have a large book collection. I'm an intelligent person, Kyle. How dare you?
Sorry.
You're like, no comment. Anyway, speaking of going from something stupid to something brilliant, I got to tell you, I went to the Disney 80s, 90s celebration in concert at the Hollywood Bowl. And it's one of the greatest shows I've ever seen at the Hollywood Bowl. Have you seen any video clips or anything from this?
I've seen a few. I know Susan Egan was going to sing the song from Hercules because that's what she does. And I saw future Disney legend, whose name I just lost, who does everything with Disney, but was playing Powerline.
Oh, Corbin Bleu? He's not becoming a Future.
Oh, is Corbin Blue? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I was confusing him with someone else. But no, I mean Future Disney Legends like as a joke. When people start to do enough work with Disney, I'm like, well, they're going to be a Disney Legend someday.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think he'll qualify. But yes, I saw a video of that. That looked fun. But yeah, no, I had a few friends there, and all of them said it was really good, except Mike Celestino was very upset.
Anastasia?
No, he was okay with that, but I understand that was confusing. He didn't like that he loved the Disney Afternoon Medley, but was very upset that they excluded Gummy Bears.
Okay, yeah, that is a very, very, very good song. So yeah, it's like you said, Susan Egan's there. Of course, she's going to be singing some Meg stuff from Hercules. Jodie Benson's there. Of course, she's going to be singing Part of Your World. And that was just kind of my mindset going in. Like, it's going to be all of the expected 80s, 90s stuff. But they shocked me with some stuff. We got Hocus Pocus. We got Newsies, the movie lyrics, not the musical. We got Phantasmic's score being played by the orchestra. We got Anastasia, which, as I'm sure listeners know, is not a Disney film. It was a 20th Century Fox animated movie. And of course, Disney bought Fox. So, it's part of the family now. And they kind of made a joke about it and were like, in the 90s, it wasn't Disney, but now it is, sort of thing. And then they came out and sang from Anastasia. My mind was blowing up. The music in Anastasia is phenomenal. Ahrens and Flaherty, the people who wrote the musical, Ragtime and Seussical, they write amazing, amazing, amazing music. So all of that was just so surprising that I honestly didn't think they had it in them to surprise me. I just thought it was going to be the same old thing, and I was so happy. They also, as you mentioned, Disney Afternoon was a highlight for me, doing a whole medley from that, minus Gummy Bears. And a Goofy movie stuff. Bill Farmer was there. I was actually seated right next to his wife, which it was so good to see her. So they did a whole Goofy movie thing, and they did, of course, Powerline, Eye to Eye, and Corbin Blue performed that. It was so, 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 so good. And I would say it's like the best show I've ever seen at the Hollywood Bowl, but I have to take into account all of the years I've seen John Williams there doing his movie music, which I actually went to the week before once again.
And he wasn't there.
John Williams was not there. And I want to bring this up because John Williams has been canceling a lot of appearances. He's in his 90s now. I can't remember if it's like 92 or 93. It sounds like he's expected to make a full recovery, but he has canceled a lot of appearances, which makes me wonder whether or not he'll be there to accept his Disney Legend Award at D23, because it's coming up pretty soon. I hope so. I hope he's there. I know he's been there in the past, right? Just to conduct like Star Wars stuff. So yeah. But it was so good.
That's awesome. And, Benji from the site interviewed Susan Egan. I think she helped produce this. She was kind of talking about like people asking her, like, are you going to include this? And she's like, yeah, of course. So they really made a point to do that. And like you said, with Bill Farmer coming out, they saw him and they're like, yeah, we need to get him to do Goofy movie stuff at this concert we're doing. So they clearly understood the assignment.
Yeah, they did a fantastic, fantastic job. So applause to all of the folks involved with that. I do want to mention, like, it put me in such the feels. I'm sure I've said this on the show many times before, but Little Mermaid is my favorite Walt Disney animated feature. And having Jodie Benson there singing it was wonderful. First of all, Jodie and Susan sound exactly the same as they did back at, decades ago. So good on them for protecting their voices. It's incredible. But it made me want to go home and like watch these films. So as I was going to bed that night after the show, I put on Disney Plus and I started Little Mermaid. And you know how they always have like a one sentence description of what the film is? They do this, it started kind of probably with TV guides, and now streaming does this. Would you like to hear what the Little Mermaid's description is on Disney Plus?
Yes.
Dive into Disney fun with Ariel in The Little Mermaid.
That's like there was a Boy Meets World episode, the one where Sean joins a cult, and the description was literally just Sean joins a cult.
That at least tells you something. This tells you nothing about the movie. Literally nothing. Well, like, this is so bad, I don't even think AI could have written it.
Maybe they want people to watch it without judging it ahead of time. Because, like, when my wife was a little girl, she wasn't allowed to watch Little Mermaid because she disobeyed her father, and that was not okay. So that's why she wasn't allowed to watch the movie for a really long time. So if they had to explain that she disobeys her father to go up to the land, then maybe people would be like, well, I don't know if I want you watching this.
No, I put the full blame on her parents. That is terrible parenting right there. Sorry. Dive into Disney Fun with Ariel and the Little Mermaid. It was literally like somebody had the assignment, write a 1-sentence description that tells you nothing. Unbelievable. It kind of blew my mind.
Did you look up the one for the remake to see if it's more descriptive?
No, I did not. I hit play and I fell asleep after a concert at the Hollywood Bowl. But God, I love The Little Mermaid.
I love falling asleep to television.
Yeah. Speaking of The Little Mermaid, have you seen this video going around of Jodie Benson's daughter, Delaney Benson, performing the role of Ariel at Miami's area stage with her mom in the audience? Have you seen this?
I did happen to see that, yes.
This is like the sweetest little thing. I mean, talk about pressure, talk about weird, talk about full circle. How kind of amazing. I don't know. I didn't know how I felt about it, to be honest. I kind of felt all those things. I'm like, this is amazing. This is disturbing. I don't know. It's just like everything.
And it's not like a normal like stage production. It felt like a very small, like, was it kind of like supposed to be like an immersive sort of?
Seemed black boxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, it was a production of the musical, and there's video floating around. I'll include a link in the show notes, but there's video floating around of, her daughter floating around. Haha, pun intended. Not intended, but now intended. But in any case, her daughter's right next to Jodie, and somebody in the audience was taking video of this, which isn't cool. Don't record live performance that's theater. This isn't a club or anything, but whatever. It's kind of a cool moment to capture, so I kind of don't blame them. But it was really cool.
You know what it was like? It was like a little bit more themed Rockwell.
Oh, Rockwell Table and Stage? Yeah, kind of. Very much so. Sadly, no longer around. Rockwell, rest in peace.
Sorry.
Pandemic killed it.
I left it. I left LA, and that's why. Clearly.
That's why. Speaking of things that died, this is a terrible transition.
That was a terrible transition.
I'm sorry.
The Instagram reel.
I'm not laughing. This is not funny, but I'm sure you heard Shelley Duvall passed away, who, of course, is the star of The Shining and Popeye. But one thing, I don't know what pops in your mind when you think Shelley Duvall, but does your head go to Disney Channel?
It doesn't. It goes to Popeye not because I've ever seen Popeye, but because they use her song, He Needs Me, in my favorite movie, Punch Drunk Love.
Oh, interesting.
So in a way, Shelley is in my favorite movie.
I've actually never seen Popeye, but I have seen The Fever Dream. That is Mother Goose Rock and Rhyme. Have you heard of this?
That sounds familiar.
Okay.
It sounds really familiar.
This was like made for Disney Channel back in the 90s, I think, early 90s. And it was during one of those, this was back when it was a pay channel, and it was during one of the free trials that this was on. It was Shelley Duvall and an like all-star cast. As a kid, you didn't know who the heck these people were, but it was like, Ben Vereen and Gary Shandling and all these names, Little Richard, and just so many names that, as an adult.
Little Richard.
Yeah. And it was, it's a fever dream. The whole thing is on YouTube. I've actually really debated doing a full episode of the podcast about it. Folks, if you want to hear that, let me know. But I just don't know. I don't want to like crap on it the whole time, but it is so weird. Like, it sounds really familiar. Weird.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it, or at least seen clips of it. What year did it come out?
I want to say early 90s. Let me IMDb it real quickly.
Okay, because when I was 4 years old, I moved to Cleveland, Ohio for like 9 months. And at that house, they had the pay version, because it was a paid channel then, so we had that's when I learned to love like Dumbo Circus and shows like that, but it was only for those few months, and we went back home and I didn't have it again until it was basic cable.
It was 1990.
Okay, very possible that I saw it, because that's how I was 4 years old in 1990.
I remember one of the buildings from it used to be on the studio backlot tour at Disney MGM Studios. It was definitely a moment in Disney Channel history that I think if you lived it, like, there's no way you can forget it. but I'm not sure how many people saw it. It is so weird. So that's what I thought of when I heard of the passing of Shelley Duvall. So I just wanted to mention that real quickly. Also want to mention, so if you're listening to this on the day that the episode is released, tomorrow on Thursday, July 25th, I will be at San Diego Comic-Con moderating the panel called Illustrating Disney Magic. This is with Rick Law, who is a Disney illustrator, and we're going to be talking about the art of creating Disney VHS covers and home video covers, which is what he did for Disney. So I'm excited for that. And if you happen to be at San Diego Comic-Con on Thursday, 10 a.m., room 32AB.
That's very cool. Break a leg.
Thank you. I'll break them both. Let's hope not. And I want to mention something else that I haven't even mentioned to you at all, Kyle.
Ooh.
I am producing a Halloween party in Salem, Massachusetts at Old Town Hall. Do you know what Old Town Hall is?
I mean, I could take a swinging guess.
Take a guess.
Is it where they shot the... No, I guess that'd probably be... Is it where they shot the something Hocus Pocus?
I put a spell on you. So the exterior...
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
Yeah, the exterior of this building... It's beautifully shot in the film. You see the kids running into this building and heading up the stairway through the window. The exterior of this building was used for Hocus Pocus. And inside this building, I am producing a 2024 version of that party, a big Halloween masquerade party happening on Friday, September 20th. It is literally the only date they had available. And I said, I'm going to take it. I'm going to do it. I'm producing a part of a Halloween event here in LA the weekend before. And then I'm flying to Salem to do this thing. Our good friend Aaron Wallace, the author of Hocus Pocus and Focus, is going to be part of it. It's going to be awesome. I'll record a whole separate thing giving more info. And Kyle, you'll be getting a press release shortly. But
you've been working on this for years.
Literally, it's been in my head for many years.
You sent me a survey about this type of thing years ago. So I know that you've been working on it since then. I hear little things about it time and time again. So just behind the scenes, this isn't just like you found the one date they have available, but it's a long time coming. So I'm very excited.
Long time coming. Thank you. I hope it's great. It's going to be great. I hope it sells is what I should say. I know it will be great. That's always, when it comes to event production for me, like I have faith in myself to do something really wonderful. It's just the ticket sales are always the tough thing. So if you want to come, if you're anywhere near Salem on Friday, September 20th, check out tinyurl.com/Salem Party 2024. It's going to be awesome. And I'm very excited. And like I said, I will record a separate little podcast thing to fill you guys in on more info. But I did want to announce it and let folks know because it's coming up in a couple months.
People should head there en masse.
I like that. That should be Massachusetts like tourism slogan. Why is that not?
I don't know.
Wow, you're a genius. And there's one other thing I want to mention. Actually, I'm going to keep it for last. Let me check in with you. Anything you want to discuss before we go?
I just want to mention, and I'm sure I've talked about it on the show before, but Claim to Fame is back. I reviewed, there's 2 episodes out at the time that we're recording this. There'll be, I think, a third one on Wednesday, the day this comes out. It's so much fun. The first 2 episodes of season 3 have been just as good as the first 2 seasons. I really love the show. I love playing along, and I highly recommend it.
Is this the one where it's celebrities' relatives and you don't know? Okay. And what's it on?
It's on ABC.
It's on ABC.
So it's Disney related.
So does it stream on Hulu?
It streams next day on Hulu. Last week, there was a little bit of a glitch, and it took a while to get up there, but it eventually made it before I got spoiled or anything. And I've solved a couple of clues. I have some other guesses. And yeah, I smile the entire time I watch the show. It's so much fun.
I might have to binge that at some point.
I'm not even a reality guy. I don't watch, I mean, I guess Shark Tank would be the only other reality show I watch. But yeah, we watched this ever since it came out.
Very nice. I love it. Excellent. I do want to mention something really quickly about a mutual love of ours that has nothing to do with Disney, but I saw something and I was like, this is important, and I have a bit of a platform, so I should mention this. We watch Phil DeFranco. We love Phil DeFranco. This is how we get our news on YouTube. Highly recommend Phil DeFranco. But Kyle, did you see this 988 story that he talked about recently?
Yeah, I did see that.
Okay, I've never heard of 988, and perhaps ashamedly so. I feel like this is something important that everybody should know about, which is why I'm mentioning it here. 988 is apparently a toll-free suicide and crisis hotline. So if you're dealing with any like mental health issues or anything, or just need somebody to talk to, dial 988. It's like 911, but not for like medical emergencies. It's for mental emergencies. And Phil did this whole story about it, and I was kind of flabbergasted that I had never heard of it. And I was just thought to myself, everybody should know about this. So if you're somebody who needs to talk to somebody, dial 988. And that's my PSA for the week, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had heard of it, but if you asked me, I wouldn't have known exactly what the number was until that story. And yeah, hopefully, sounds like it's having some issues with like funding and things like that. So hopefully it raise awareness, will hopefully raise more money for it too.
Yeah, and I just think everybody should know it. The way everybody knows 911, we should all know 988. So, Phil educated me. Hopefully I'm educating somebody listening. And even if it's not for you, hopefully you can educate somebody who needs it. So 988, that's how I'm ending this episode. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Alrighty, Kyle. Well, thanks for chatting. I'll talk to you again in a couple weeks.
Talk to you then.
To read more about any and all of the stories you've heard here today, simply visit the show notes link in this episode's description. You've heard the news, and now I want to hear what you have to say about it. What do you think of the record set by drones at Disneyland Paris? Share your thoughts on that or any other topics mentioned in today's episode. Call 818-860-2569, and you may just hear yourself on a future episode of Disney Coast to Coast. Thanks for tuning into this episode. Don't miss any future episodes by subscribing and following Disney with a Z, Coast to Coast on your favorite podcast app, where episodes are available 24/7. This episode has been executive produced by Jeffrey Riccio. Gain rewards like Jeffrey, including access to never-before-heard episodes and live-stream Ask Me Anythings, by visiting the Patreon link in this episode's description. Until next time, anything you need can be found in this episode's description. From additional information and links discussed in this episode found in the show notes, contact info to reach me, access to the show's official website, some free gifts from me to you, and so much more. So be sure to check out this episode's description. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!